Hey, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, and today's card is this one. This is not a random one. This is one of the new cards that's coming from Murders at Karloff Manor when we get there. Now, Voja, Jaws of the Conclave, 2 red, green and white for a 5/5 legendary creature wolf with Vigilance, Trample and Ward 3. Fantastic, like that, but it gets better. Whenever Voja attacks, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of elves you control, and then draw a card for each wolf you control. Now, this card was spoiled, I think, yesterday as I'm recording this, and there's been a little bit of controversy around it because you're going to get this, and there's 2 other cards which I'll cover maybe later this week or early next week. They're coming in the pre-release kits. They're coming in the kits, but you can't use them in your pre-release deck. You can't release them on pre-release day because, well, they're just ridiculously all powerful, all 3 of them. But Voja caught my mind straight away because how often do you see elves with dogs? Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, okay, this is an interesting mishmash of 2, well, wolves. You can play tribal wolves, is not very good at the moment, but this is an interesting match because elves is one of the most popular tribal creatures on MTGO, and wolves I think is going to get there after this. So I've been and picked up some wolves on MTGO. Unfortunately, obviously, Voja's not on MTGO this time yet, and I'm hoping it's one of the cards that Daybreak Games do program in for us. There's been a bit of confusion in the past around Commander cards, but I hope this is one that comes. But what I've done is I've gone and built this deck, and this is what I'm going to build in real life because when I'm at the pre-release at the weekend, on the first weekend in February, this is one of the cards I'm hoping I get to trade for. So here we go. This is what I'm going to be building when Voja comes around, and hopefully we'll get it on online and I can play it online as well. So without further ado, here's today's deck. A little bit different to how I usually do things. Obviously, I'm having to use MTG Goldfish, so you know the deck list is down below in this description if you want to go and have a look at it. But we'll go through it this way and hope it works out. Yeah, so obviously Voja is our commander. They're here, and then I've gone with 42 creatures, which is probably a bit OTT, I'll be honest. But I want to get as many elves and wolves in that I thought would be useful in the deck. So elves, we've got Arbor Elf. Then the first wolf we've got is Ascendant Pack Leader. Voja is a 5/5, so if we cast this after it comes into play, it comes in as a 3/2 for 1 mana, which is pretty good, and then cast a few more spells with mana value 4 more, we get to put even more on there, so like that plan. Elvish Mystic, ramp. Essence Warden gives us some life gain. Fine Order Elves, Landwar Elves gives us more ramp. Tundra Wolves is the next wolf. Old school one from 10th edition. First strike for a 1/1 for 1 white mana, which is quite cool still. First strike early in the game can be fun. Beast Caller Savant is here just so we can get the colour of mana we need. It's got haste, so we're not losing out much by playing it, and it helps us get up Voja even quicker. Bloom Tenderer gives us tap it for a colour of mana, for 1 of each colour of mana permanents we control, so that's quite nice. When Voja's in play, it taps for red, green and white. I'm not saying that very well today, but you know what it does. Going down, Incubation Druid is next up. Whoop, there we go. Tap it, add any mana. Because we're chucking around +1/+1 counters some of the time, this should be quite easy to get it through. Don't forget you can get the +1/+1 counters on it, and then in addition, as a response to that, you can adapt it. So you get the 3, so it goes up to 3/5, and however many extra +1/+1s you're putting on it. So quite cool. Paradise Druid is just a little bit of hexproof ramp if we need it. Territorial Witchstalker, cheap wolf from Wilds of Eldraine, comes into play, and as long as you've got a creature with power 4 more, it gets +1/+0 and can attack, so it didn't have Defender, but it's quite a nice blocker early in the game. Arwen, Weaver of Hope from Lord of the Rings. Into battlefield, whenever another creature enters the battlefield with +1/+1 equals to its toughness. Hopefully we get Arwen's toughness up, so even more counters. Cemetery Prowler just means spells of the cost 1 less to cast for each card type you have share that cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. So, hopefully you'll exile a creature and then you'll exile something like an artifact or something. It's instant or sorcery, get the spells cost down. Elvish Archdruid, pump up the elves we've got. Ferocious Pup for 3 mana gives us 2 wolves. It gives us a 0/1 and a 2/2, so that's pretty good. More cards we can draw in theory. 1 second, sorry. Sorry, I had to pause this. I thought there was something wrong with the camera. Just got a strange line. But anyway, Ferocious Pup comes into play. We've covered that one already. Hollow Scavenger gives us a food token early in the game, and then we can have a 3/2 wolf for 3 mana. Immer Wolf gives all our wolves +1/+1, which is very nice. And this one's got Intimidate. So yeah, can't be blocked except by artifact creatures or red and green creatures. That's quite cool. Numa, Jorgen Chieftain, is a nice way to sink our mana into to make our elves even bigger. Primal Adversary comes into play. You can pay the extra mana and pay this cost, put that many +1/+1 counters on the adversary, and then up to that many target lands you control become 3/3 wolf creatures with haste, and they're still lands. Nice way of drawing all those extra cards if you need to. Rex Sage is an elf that blows up enchantments and artifacts that are annoying us. And Rocco, Street's Chef, exile everyone's card, get some treasure tokens, get some food tokens and some +1/+1 counters. No issue with that. Sivala, Explorer returned, another elf. We do the parlay thing, get some mana, get some life, and draw some cards. Silverfur Partisan. Nice one if you can get it into play. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control becomes target of an instant sorcery, you get to get another wolf token. So, you know, people try and kill your wolves off you, they come back with a 2/2. Witch Stalker has hexproof, upsets any blue and black players you come across. Wood Elves goes and finds you a forest and puts it into play. The Familiar means all your commanders are indestructible as long as it's our turn, so that's a nice 4/4. Beast Whisperer draws cards. Fleetfoot Dancer is just trample, life and haste for a 4/4 for 4 mana. General Marhoop Eldragon means that all our creatures that get blocked get +3/+3 for each creature blocking it until the end of turn. Which probably means most of the creatures blocking it will die off. Grand Warlord Rada, whenever one or more creatures you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of green or red, and you get to keep it all through until the end step. Night Pack Ambusher pumps our wolves up, and then at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, create a 2/2 wolf token. Okay. Oracle of Mildai, land draw off the top, playing the additional lands if you need to. If there was another home for one of my favourite commanders ever, Shalia and Halal, is here. Lots of +1/+1 counters put around, you get to deal that much damage. Lovely, thank you. Rakish Revelers, I've chucked it in, it's quite fun. Pay 2 and exile it, make one of your lands a tap land, so that works out for me quite happily. Scala and a Wolf are also is also here to go and find a green card and put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom in random order. Wolf of Devil's Breach, something probably most people won't have seen before, but you can pay 1 and a red and a discard a card and basically shoot something down if you discard a card with a mana value right. Wolf here, Silverheart, is just a nice soulborn creature to make something even bigger. Assembled Alphas deals damage to creatures and players when you attack or block. Well, not when you attack, actually. It's when it becomes blocked or you block with it. That's it. Sorry. Bad mistake. Flourishing Hunter, just a little bit of life gain if we need it. And then 2 win conditions, because with all this in play, you haven't really got much evasion. But Craterhoof Behemoth obviously gives everything trample. Or Moonshaker Cavalry, because I haven't seen much of this yet. And I really like this card from Wilds Rail Train. Gives all your stuff flying and +X as well. So just go over the top instead. Fine by me. A few spells to keep us going. Heroic Intervention, we all know what this does. Nature's Law, 3 visits to go and find the lands we need. Jessica's Will, just to get a bit of card draw and or mana, or both if we're lucky. Teferi's Protection to, protect us, keep everything in play when someone tries to kill it off. Chroma's Will is just another win more, people call it a win more card, but I also call it in this deck a win condition in this card, especially if you've got your commander out and you can do both. That's really good. 3 control spells, Chain Reactions, Wrath of God and Blasphemous Act control the board for us. A little bit of Artifact Ramp, Mox Tantalite, because we want multicolour, so I went with this one instead of my other Soul Talisman. Went with this one exchange. Elixir of Immortality shuffles everything back in if it goes pear-shaped. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Emerald, Pearl, Ruby medallions to cut all the costs of our spells down, and then the talismans, Conviction, Impulse and Unity to make sure that we can cast our spells even quicker. A couple of enchantments just to help out. You can go heavier on here if you want to go down the +1/+1 counter route, but I just went with Hardened Scales and Branching Evolution because that's what I figured all we needed. And then the lands, there is Arid Mesa here. I have kept it fairly straightforward, things that people would have in their day life if this doesn't come into MTGO. Now I will say if this does hit MTGO, I'm going to the original dual lands in this deck, so Savannah will be in here for example. I'm not going to hide from that fact, so if you do see me playing this online, because our wonderful commander does get programmed in, the mana base will be completely different from this, but you know, the 45 Village, Fury Calm, Snarl, Game Trail, Forests, some of it will be the same. You know, I will probably only play 4 forests, 3 plains and 3 mountains. Somewhere the moment, 2 mountains I'm playing, sorry. Yeah, and Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, along with everything else is here. But that's it. That is my little take on this wonderful card today. Like I say, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Voja. I'm hoping it turns up on MTGO. I'm really praying that Daybreak Games at least get these 3 programmed in, even if they miss the Commander deck, so because this one's going to be fun. Like I say, the others will be appearing, maybe one more later this week and definitely one next week. So keep your eyes out for that. But for now, hope you've enjoyed it. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. 325 as I record this. I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of the year, so if you can, I'd really appreciate it. But for now, that's it. Hopefully you pick up Voja at the pre-release in, well, not this weekend, the weekend afterwards. And yeah, I'll see you back very soon for the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.